These tomato plants germinated straight from the fruit, so here's how to germinate tomato seeds from fresh tomatoes. You can probably do this with any tomato, but in this video, I'm going to be using cherry tomatoes. And all you have to do is break the cherry tomatoes open and plant them, or whichever tomato you're using. You can break it open with your fingers, cut it open, slice it up, just open them up and plant them. Breaking them open first will help the seeds germinate a little bit faster than if you just planted them whole. If you plant them whole, then you have to wait a little bit longer for the tomato skin to break down just enough for the seeds to germinate and push through. Plant the tomatoes in well-draining soil and keep them well watered until they germinate. The seeds should germinate in about 5 to 7 days, and they should look something like this. And here's a little look at how they grow when the tomatoes are planted like this. I sliced a bunch of cherry tomatoes and planted them in my worm bin. And over time, during some worm feedings, things got moved around. And this is what's growing now. They're all on the side over here. Planting tomatoes like this is a good way to grow a bunch of tomato plants at once. And I will say the type of potting mix the tomatoes are planted in can make a difference. So the seedlings that I'm transplanting into these smaller pots are being planted in just some regular old potting mix. And yeah, they're growing just fine, but the tomato seedlings that are growing directly in my worm bin are thriving. This potting mix has been completely transformed and it's just so rich and full of worm castings, and the tomato seedlings grow so much better and faster in it. And I do try to keep the soil moist at all times. This is really just one of the best ways to germinate tomato seeds, especially straight from the fruit itself. It's one of the laziest ways and simplest ways, so that's what I like. You should be able to do this with any tomato. And once the seedling has grown enough, just transfer it to its permanent spot and let it grow. Just make sure that permanent spot is, in some nice, rich soil.